All right, so we're gonna go live tonight. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna watch. Hopefully, if I can get it on my television, excuse me, not television. If I can get it on my computer, we're gonna watch this Bari Weiss, Erika Kirk special. Let's see here. So basically, I'm looking up how I can do it on my computer, because it's Paramount Plus. Do I have Paramount? I do have Paramount Plus. Let's see. How do I sign in? I don't even know what my sign in is. It's through my provider, I think, Spectrum. Let's see. I think. Oh, hold on. I know I have it.
I'm kind of upset that I missed the rice tagging situation. But I have on my lip by a mosquito while asleep. It looked like I had 10 mosquitoes on one side or another. I just had to.
Forgot password. Let's see.
Well, that's what. Next activity. That's gonna be fun. The hotel recommended this local family will invite us into their home to eat with them. Girl, that is amazing. Toto. It's like bed and breakfast. You just need time to just let's just it off. Mentally. Let's just it off. That breakfast.
Hello.
I wasn't thinking about myself. I was thinking about them.
The light. What light? Are you here? All right. I mean, the light should be on, but okay. Okay. All right. I'll turn it on now. Bye. I'll be right back, y'all.
What the temple was giving me after visiting the temple, I got a son to reflect, and as much as I love you guys, I'm still affected by the argument, and I appreciate you guys, and I accept both of your apology, but I'm just not being myself. I don't think I'm happy here, and so I'm just gonna go home. Yeah, I'm already happy. Wow, I'm not what to say right now. Yeah, I think it's better already. My plan at healthcare.gov is excellent. I can get annual screenings, checkups, and more.
I was able to look at multiple options that best suited my needs, not only for coverage, but for my budget.
As a mom of 2 boys, having health insurance is extremely important, and I found my family plan at healthcare.gov. I am beyond thankful.
4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $21 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov. Enroll by December 15th.
Financial inclusion, clinical solutions.
Meal deals with McDonald's. You get this, and a chicken or a double or a daily double. All this for just these prices? Oh, who says you can't have it all?
I'm still affected by the argument, and so I'm just gonna go home.
Thank you.
Wow, I'm looking yeah, I think it's better right now. I'm feeling like really let down. I wouldn't have wanted any one of us to be and And like my mental health is more important than
I mean, you know, because even though, you know, we was pushing forward and moving through, a lot of stuff still happened for me as well. Even though she apologized as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that, but at the same time, I was ready to move forward. You know what I'm saying? But
I thought I could, like I really wanted to, and I felt myself doing it, but then
you don't have to fake it.
yeah, I don't want to have to fake it. I wouldn't to be honest, and yeah.
Baby,
Yeah.
ain't no future in the brain.
It wasn't a surprise to me, but what does surprise me is that she's unable to take any type of accountability or even have a grown-up conversation.
I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you all. I love you. Take care. Bye, guys.
Sayonara.
Goodbye. Adios.
I'm gonna need the strongest jerky.
Okay. Goodbye.
Can somebody just tell me what just happened? So my heart breaks for everybody, bro. I'm gonna go.
Morning, baby.
I'll see y'all in yeah.
All right, boo.
Lord God.
You know what? Because they have an accident that does that because my struggle story pretty much adds to her statistic.
It's frustrating because I'm not able to show her who we really are. I feel like a conversation between me and her would shed light on that.
You really from where the water. You know, I grew up, you know, when they filmed a lot of that stuff back.
What's it coming up with? I'm so spicy.
I would have liked to be able to explain myself and what happened with her comments. And I would have liked to hear what I did to offend her so that I could take accountability. And I
You can't control someone else. You can only control you. Sadness comes from the fact that
You should probably say thank you to the authorities and just make a statement. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they say, do you want to go live? Or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live. I have nothing to hide. We're fully transparent. What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was assassinated. He didn't die in a car accident. So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, that is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed. Unleashed. That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea. And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years. 31 years. And so, yes, you have no idea what has been unleashed. But I will promise until my last breath that I will let the Lord use me in ways that He only can to bring glory to Him and to the kingdom. And it has been unbelievably powerful. And it's just the beginning.
Erika, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter.
Oh, brother.
Excuse me.
What did her husband say
You
about
wanna
people who had
watch?
children?
High res, the video of my husband being murdered, and laugh and say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you. I pray, because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us. My husband did something very simple. He talked to people.
He did
You're
more
going to
than
be
talk to
murdered
people.
for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your ideas.
He went after George Floyd personally
And if you think it's okay
after he was dead anyway.
to murder someone because you think they had it coming for them, because they took the time to have people come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say or how they say it, that they should be murdered, and you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that? That is evil. Evil.
This isn't live. This is pre-recorded.
As you know, and as I know, one of the ideas that has gained a lot of traction among young people, especially in this country, Erika, is, and this leads them to this kind of justification, is the idea that words themselves are violence. And that brings us tonight to our first audience question. It comes from Angel Eduardo. Angel is a senior writer and editor for the civil libertarian group, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, and he writes passionately about issues of free speech. Angel.
Thank you, Bari. Excuse me. Erika, my condolences. A recent survey that we took after Charlie's assassination found that 90% of undergraduates believe to some extent that words can be violence. Another FIRE survey that we took earlier also found that 1/3 of surveyed students believe that using violence to stop disfavored speech can be acceptable, at least in rare cases. What's your response to those numbers? And what would you say to those students in particular?
Well, for the people who say that my husband might have incited violence, I know that was not your question, but I'm going to put a squash on it before anyone else can attach to that. My husband never incited violence. He never once said, go after them because they're saying X, Y, Z and they deserve to die. My husband never once said that, and he never would. What did he say? Come to the front of the line. I'll put my mic down. Tell me why you believe that. That's interesting. I never thought of that. But have you thought of this? People heckling, laughing at them. Stop. It took a lot of courage for them to come up here. Stop doing that. He gave them a microphone. He didn't take away a moment for them to speak back. He gave them a microphone.
Yeah.
And what they do, they gave him a bullet in the neck. Totally different. But you have secular revolutionaries that want to come out and say, you can't say that, and I'm going to stop you from saying it. I'm going to... Why? You don't want to have a conversation. Something as simple as a conversation. And this is what is so fascinating to me. My husband knew that something as simple as having a conversation could change the world. So simple. That is an ancient thing. Come and sit down and have coffee with me. Why do you believe what you believe? 80s and 90s, they were doing this in Congress, then going to have a Subway afterwards. Why don't we do that anymore? Instead, it's violence. Usually one-sided. I'm not going to go there. But you know what's so interesting about my husband's book, the last book he will ever write? It could have been about politics. It could have been about football. It could have been about anything. He was multidimensional. It literally says, stop in the name of God. Stop. Stop the violence. Stop the hate. Have a conversation. Stop. And what he knew in that book was not just so much stop that, take a minute to get off of your phone and realize that we are all human, operating on this broken planet, all sinful, no one's perfect, and we're not getting out of here alive. But what he knew in that book was the balancing factor of communication. You cannot communicate with someone if you're not at peace with yourself. So he went on campus talking to a kid. They're screaming at him, screaming.
Please.
Does he scream back? Not once. He sits there. And you know what he's thinking?
Well,
it's in that book. Maybe you need to take a few hours. Get off your phone. Go for a walk in nature. Go sit and have a coffee.
It's deeper than
Go
that.
and tell your mother you love her. Go do something
Look,
that is
just-
beautiful and healing instead of trying to tear something down that you did not build. That's my thought on that.
We're going to talk about the book in a little bit, but I want to pick up on a theme that you've now hit on twice, which is the idea that the black squares that we all have in our pocket, our phones,
yes,
that they are doing something to us collectively, that they are dehumanizing us. Later, we'll talk about the conspiracies that are spreading right now on those platforms about who killed your husband. What do you recommend to people sitting in this room? What are your practices to disconnect, to reconnect by disconnecting?
Well, like my husband, I took all of it off my phone.
All social media off your phone?
I don't have it on my phone. I have a team that helps run it. I really, everyone has an opinion about me. I could care less. You know what I care about? I care about what my daughter says about me and her running up into my arms and loving on me. That's what I care about.
One of the things that has happened over the 3 months since Charlie was murdered is that people have gone through the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of words he produced. He said more in 31 years than most people will say in a lifetime.
Yes.
And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay?
Yeah.
Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said. Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. Now, I realize that all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show, correct? But he did say those things. And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation. How do you square that with the statements I just read?
I would love for everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip of what he said. Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't care what religion you were. He loved excellence. He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked so hard to build Turning Point USA.
He didn't earn any of what he had.
The first statement you meant about guns and shooting, I have no idea the context of that, and I have no idea that whole. There's a lot more there than just that one little sentence. My husband is not to be deteriorated to 2 sentences. He's not. He is a thought leader, and he was brilliant of a man. So that's fine if you want to take words out of his mouth or out of context without the whole thing in perspective. But that's the problem.
Does it bother you that people are picking out those statements and drawing an entire picture of who he was?
Again,
go ahead and like the live, guys. I appreciate it.
You're not having a conversation. You're having a 15-second clip on the internet to define your thought of who someone is instead of taking the time to educate yourself on truly who that person is, what they thought, because why? They challenged you to think a little different?
Yeah.
Again, my husband was an amazing man. We're human. But I do not once.
Go ahead and like
for
the
1
live,
second.
guys. Our eyes tell the lies. Right. I agree. 100%. I don't think there's a truth.
Think he was anything else than exceptional.
It's 100% lies with what she's spewing.
Erika, as you know, the last person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. A question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there. Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity. And I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message.
Look at her eyes.
Hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that Turning Point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation.
Look at her.
So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
Husband.
I appreciate your question. You know my heart. Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people? This is so much deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do.
She's not going to.
But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home, okay?
No, please.
This starts with family.
We're talking about the
This
president
starts
here.
with a seed that grows and grows. You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light. What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence.
Guys, go ahead and like the live.
My husband is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame everyone else.
Yo, y'all are wild in the comments.
We have to look in the mirror. When you become a father, when you become a mother, how are you raising your kids?
Thank you.
Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit hole? I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent. So my call to action from that is parents, step up.
Why won't she condemn the president?
Do you want your kid to be a thought leader
This guy asked
or
her
an
to condemn the
assassin?
president.
That's where we're at.
Can't do it.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part. I'm not in control of other people.
Okay. Ahead, a father whose daughter was murdered in cold blood because of who she was. He's here. Also, political violence and the conspiracy theories surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Stay with us.
I gotta be honest with y'all. This is so wild to watch. She's not answering questions. She's not, the guy asked her to confront the president, to condemn the president, and she's not doing that. After her husband had his life ended due to quote unquote political violence, right? She won't condemn what the president has said about the Democratic senators. And then they ask, do you think politicians have the responsibility to turn down the temperature? And she's like, I think everybody has the responsibility to turn down the temperature. I'm doing my part. I can't control anyone else. That is such a milquetoast answer. Yeah, and her Trump have been friends since she was a teenager. Man, a lot longer than when Charlie was around. 100%. She was in Donald Trump's pageants, right? So this is kind of wild to see. I am of the mindset that she's probably trying to peddle a book. She's probably trying to peddle a book, or she's probably trying to peddle Turning Point USA. This is getting eyes on her 3 months after her husband has passed. So, this is relatively fresh. So a lot of new people are going to be turning into this mainstream news station to hear and see what she has to say. This is kind of very, very wild to see this level of, this is live. This level of propagandizing, not just close off, but shaming. Right. She's not just closed off, but shaming. That's the crazy part about it. I don't know. Like, I feel like if you're not somebody with media literacy, you'll watch this and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this lady, right? This lady, this poor widow. But like, bruh, let's get back to it. I don't have any sound, guys. Do you hear anything?
Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erika. Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there's no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result
These are
of
the two IDF agents.
Charlie's tragic death. Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism, hate against Jews, and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel. We know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left, including here in New York City, where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the infantata. What I want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial, anti-Zionism, and the normalizing of centuries-old conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Oh,
Yes, sir.
that's a good question.
First of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club. Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you. It sucks, doesn't it?
Surprised he gives demon vibes. Yo, that's wild. But
hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful.
She won't condemn anyone.
Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. Nothing. Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor.
Oh my God.
How could you hate that place?
Listen, I'm not going to attract these type of people in my life, y'all.
How could you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a conspiracy theory? I'm wrapped in, people say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time. It's sick. And it needs to stop. We are human. No one is perfect. No Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. We are broken, sinful humans in need of a Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord.
Why is okay?
Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate.
This guy is Jewish.
And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen, and I pray that that is something that we can somehow extinguish in this world.
I don't think she's in on anything
But we
nefarious.
are living in enemy-occupied territory.
This is a little weird.
And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot.
This guy,
You cannot.
This guy is Jewish. He doesn't believe in Jesus.
Bob, do you want to ask a follow-up?
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Yeah, so we're all of our college campus and high school campuses. We have these conversations, and our students understand exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said.
This is weird.
We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth. And if you don't, there's a void and a vacuum. And so even though they're a small number, they get louder and louder. So we need to do our best, which we're doing our part. We're going to continue to do our part to make sure that the truth is always heard. We'll amplify it even more. And we're going to do the best we can, but we need the whole community. We need everyone in on that.
Bob, thank you so much. I want to talk about discernment.
Yes.
Okay. Being able to separate truth from lies, reality from unreality. A 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson has been arrested and charged with the murder of your husband. And yet there are a huge number of conspiracy theories, you might call them brain rot, that are spreading right now online about the actual story behind the reality.
This interview feels very off
One,
as well.
people say that Tyler Robinson was actually a MAGA Republican. Or two, some people say you were actually a Mossad agent sitting in front of me and you were Charlie's handler and Israel killed Charlie.
Right.
Other people say that a number of men in the crowd were wearing maroon t-shirts, and this signifies that his killing was an elite airborne operation, whatever that means. They say that the rings on your fingers, which are
my kids' initials, my wedding band, the Medal of Freedom, my engagement ring.
But apparently they symbolize some kind of secret plot. There's also a new theory that Egyptian aircraft have been tracking you. What is going on? Why are there so many conspiracies spreading about what seems to be a pretty open and shut case?
This is the first time that we have seen evil on display where we have social media at our fingertips.
Like the live.
Something so evil that happened, people are wanting answers immediately. They are wanting to figure out how to wrap their mind around this. Egyptian planes.
Egyptian planes. Do you believe that Tyler Robinson murdered your husband?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think it is so hard for so many people to believe that reality?
Because it's too simple. Again, everyone always has to think there's more to the story. Well, sometimes there's not. I've seen the autopsy report. I've seen our case pulled together. I've been in constant contact with our lawyers, the prosecuting team. I've seen it all. And let me tell you this. Why in the world, why should we, prior to the trial, lay all of our hands and cards on the table for the defense team to see, to somehow then, I don't even know what they would do with it. But what I will say, and I want to get on the Egyptian plane thing, we'll take a flight on that for a second. What I will say is what I'm worried about, and I'm fascinated, just from a legal standpoint, to see how the United Healthcare trials pans out. And I say that because this is the first time where we are seeing the implications.
You're talking about Luigi Mangione.
Correct. I prefer never to say any of their names. They do not even deserve the ounce of oxygen and breath out of my body. But what I mean is, it's fascinating to see how social media will impact that court case, just how it might impact mine.
Are you nervous he's not going to get a fair trial?
I'm nervous that there could be, they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like, they're going to taint the jury pool. And in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yes.
That's how mainstream they become. Okay.
Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay. I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I'd travel, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those states that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one. Only because from a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby.
I don't know. It probably.
The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I am wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies. And she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
On the plane.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Okay. The next question comes from a person who may be familiar to you, Erika, because Charlie interviewed him for his show last August. Rob Henderson, to you.
Thank you, Bari. And thank you, Erika. During that discussion with Charlie, neither of us knew that was going to be the last long-form interview he would ever conduct, because his life was cut short by the actions of a very disturbed young man. As someone who admired Charlie's ability to offer young people a productive and optimistic path, I wanted to ask, how should the conservative movement think about cultivating leaders and role models for young men? And how can it continue offering them a constructive alternative to the toxic currents Charlie so astutely criticized?
It's a great question. First of all, your interview was amazing. It's one of my favorite ones to look back on. Charlie connected with you very well. And I can always tell when he does on his show. I've always watched his show. And I could always tell because his questions and his engagement would shift. And he always loved that conversation with you. As the CEO of Turning Point USA, it is my responsibility to make sure that our youth is in good hands. Our chapter leaders are amazing. And there's some leaders within those groups you guys have not even seen or heard about yet, but you will one day, and you'll be blown away because they are amazing kids. We had 2 of them at our gala event this weekend, and they spoke in front of our donors. It was the first time I ever met them. Phenomenal kids. Not only are they smart, they have a heart. Not only do they have a heart, they can understand and see the Gen Z landscape in a way that we can't. And from a peer-to-peer communication level, they're phenomenal. So I personally, having a front row seat to the rising generation, the courageous generation, they're amazing. Yes, there are bad apples. Millennials, we got them too. So do the baby boomers. So does Gen X. No one's escaping the bad apples. It's just the batch. But it is our responsibility, my responsibility, our team's responsibility to make sure
this is
that our chapters are cultivating those leaders.
Say the least.
So when they leave high school and they decide not to go to college, they're in the workforce being incredible people and incredible leaders.
Yeah,
they might not be
it's definitely got my attention.
Influencers. Not everyone's meant to. Everyone plays a very specific role. But they'll be someone in something very important, and they'll plant seeds. And that's all you have to do, is plant the seed. And then let truth grow from there. But thank you again for the time that you spent with my husband on that final conversation. It meant a lot to him. It means a lot to me to be able to have that to show my babies one day.
Thanks, Rob. Coming up, should women focus on their careers or building their families? We'll ask Erika Kirk what she believes as a mom and now as a CEO.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some water. This is definitely odd, and it's about to get even odder with this next bit of conversation that they're gonna have, because they're about to start talking about what women should not be doing. You know, they're about to go on that Christian nationalist vibe. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna get some water, and I'll be right back.
Where are you? Is that tree I keep coming? The girls are over there, and I'm on 92. Tree, you're awesome. I felt that I was happy, girl. This is what you like. Okay. Okay. Well, wait, hold on. Wait. Are we not doing this together? Now, I want to do this, but I'm scared. What if the water comes inside? What if I can't come up fast enough? What if I can't get this thing off my head? Taking this whole experience in, it's vivid. You're under the ocean.
All right, I'm back, guys. Yeah, I find this whole interview very odd. I'm not going to tell anybody how to grieve because that's an individual thing, but the fact that she won't answer questions is very abnormal to me. I wouldn't be doing interviews either. Just me, U7Y. Yeah, there's definitely a disconnect between her words and her body language, facial expressions. She may just have a harsh resting face, but it does come off as odd. I agree. This is cool. I feel like I'm joining you in your living room. Thanks. I think I'm going to do more of these, especially at night. What's making it odd? The fact that she won't answer questions. She's being very generic in her answers. People are giving her direct things that she can condemn, and she won't condemn them. I think the question about condemning violence that happened to other people and her saying, her starting to cry, I think that's very odd as well. I still got commercials on my end. So, oh, here we go. Right back. We're joining.
About politics. It wasn't about policy. It was about the Jewish Sabbath, which he kept for 25 hours, starting sundown on Friday night through sundown on Saturday night. What made Charlie so passionate about this subject?
He was on the verge of burnout, and he thought to himself, what can I be doing? And he always loved the 10 Commandments. And then he saw it, honoring the Sabbath. And he realized that if you don't, this one commandment, if you don't honor it, you're the one who misses out on the gift, not God.
Are you keeping it?
I'm trying my best.
Is it helping?
It is. I feel close to him. I break it apart, though. So instead of a full 24 straight, I'll break it apart only because my mom's sick and I need to be available because I'm her medical power of attorney. So I need to be available if something happens. And so I make it what works for me. But that's what was so beautiful about that. Charlie wasn't legalistic about it. He's like, make it your own.
Erika, you have made a lot of comments that a lot of people have noticed about women, suggesting, you know this, right? Suggesting that women should get married young, that they should have children young, that they should prioritize family over their careers. And at the same time, you are now doing both. You now have 2 young children, I think both under the age of 3. And you're the CEO and chairwoman of Turning Point. Square that for us. Right. Some people look at you and say, you know, she's trying to make it a binary choice. You can be the trad wife or the girl boss, but look at her. She's having both. What do you say to them?
Right. Well, I didn't ask for this. Obviously it's a blessing that I view it as a blessing. It's a duty to my husband. But I was very happy being a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong with being a mother. There's actually more beautiful and emotional and powerful job title, if you will, being a mother. And for me, I experienced what it was like living in New York, living that boss babe culture. But when I met Charlie and we had our babies, I was in it. That was all hands on deck. I would take that world in a heartbeat. Always. But you know what? There was never any daylight between Charlie and I, and his mission was my mission. So stepping into this role is not so much a job title. This is not a 9-to-5 for me. This is something that I'm very passionate about because it's still a remaining breathing version of my husband, this Turning Point USA. So this organization is not just a company to me. And the staff and employees are not staff and employees, they're family. And so for me, it's a lot different and a lot deeper than a career.
Yeah, y'all heard that too.
This is very personal. Right? But yes,
very odd.
It is hard. But at the same day, it takes a village. And I have one heck of a village.
We have a woman here that has a question perfectly calibrated to this part of our conversation. I want to hand it over to Isabella Reggi.
Thank you. And Erika, you and your family are in my prayers.
Thank you.
I'm a 26-year-old Christian woman living in New York City. I would like to stay here long term, but I wonder whether it's sustainable. Do you believe there's a place for women like myself in modern cities who care about having a career, but also marrying a like-minded Christian conservative man?
Well, yeah. So it just depends on where you're looking. You know, if you're on the apps, I don't know if you're on the apps. I don't know if, I'm not going to ask you your personal journey. But what I will say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going, I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study? Did you tell your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for? You yourself need to be prepared for that man, and only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls? I'm not saying you sit on your couch and all of a sudden he's going to knock on your door and be like, honey, let's rendezvous. Like, that's not how it happens.
What is this now?
It's not. Granted, my situation was a little different. I wouldn't do it.
What is
You went to a job interview.
Literally. So this is how good the Lord is. He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to, that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like, I am so sorry. Thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't. But God will work in incredible ways when you surrender the pen for him to write your love story. And when you know that, look, if I remain in the jet stream of God's will, he will provide for me in ways I cannot even imagine. And that is my prayer for you. My prayer for you is to remain open and to remain prayerful and to let people around you know, old school style, I'm ready and I'm looking to get married and having a family. You can always have your career. Being able to have a family truly is a very limited, short window. You can start your career. If you have people and it's amazing business, have other people run it. You can still manage it. You can still pour into it, but you have your babies. And then once your babies are grown and the nest is empty, go back to your career. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have a career, you have your babies, the Lord's going to inspire something inside of you that you're like, you know what? There's a problem. I have a solution. How many baby companies have been born out of moms? You know, like the little carrier seat or a stroller or something.
We live for that carrier seat.
Right. 100%. I'm not trying to plug them for like something. So I'm just trying not to even say the name, but you understand my sentiment is that there's something really special and beautiful about making sure that you are the woman that your future husband deserves and vice versa. Do not settle.
Thank you.
Thanks, Isabella.
Matchmaker's show. What
Up
is
next,
happening?
the emotional moment that Erika Kirk forgave her husband's alleged murderer. Stay with us.
This is getting odd, y'all. This is getting odd as hell. This has become from her talking about her husband and everything that's going on to like a matchmaking show. Like the last 15 minutes was like matchmaking and her explaining what kind of woman you have to be in order to attract a Charlie. Cringe as hell. Right. I like watch her whole disposition change. I bet you she's going to start crying again. Listen, I don't have anything against her personally. I don't know her, but like this interview is very weird. Thank you for playing this. I couldn't get it on TV or phone. I don't know how. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead and like the live, guys. I appreciate it. This is horrible production. This is all over the place. This is insane. Her energy flip is disturbing. She has, listen, I didn't come into this wanting to find anything wrong with her, but this interview is odd. This interview is very odd. It's very disturbing. And I really don't know how to gauge this. Like, I don't have the words to put together, except for this is some weird shit. Like, what is happening here? I really think the production failed. She had these questions a week in advance. And they're asking you about Charlie Kirk, about Candace Owens after you've had the questions for a week and the only thing you could say is stop. That's it. But she lit up like a Christmas tree when that lady asked her about being a wife and being a mom and it seems like that's her passion, And I feel like that's what Turning Point USA with her as leader is going to be about when it comes to women. We're all we all entitled to our own opinion. I think it's odd. I think her energy shift is odd. I think that her disposition is very odd. That's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to have it. What do you guys think about this? This is all of her interviews are odd, right? I think the same thing. I mean, I haven't seen an interview where I've been like, this is a mentally stable person. Obviously she's grieving, so you want to give her some grace when it comes to that, but at the same time it's like, right, I didn't know anything about it until Charlie passed either. To her CEO brand roll good, right. I'm just trying not to miss when it comes back on. And we're back.
I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
Erika, that moment that we just watched was unforgettable. I was one of millions of people across the world that watched you get up on that stage and forgive the man who murdered your husband. And I think a lot of people looked at it and thought, this is incomprehensible. It's almost baffling. And I want you to speak to those who are unable to understand, really, that act of grace. How is it possible that you can forgive the person that murdered your husband?
I'm not forgetting what he did. I'm not condoning what he did. What he did is sick and evil. So sick and evil. What I am doing is releasing myself from the enemy's hands, where he could have a foothold in me, and he could be able to just, like I said earlier, you have a choice. Am I going to take that moment? And I will never say anything I don't mean. I really prayed on that moment. That was a game time decision. I'll never say what I don't mean. But am I going to take that moment to say, rally the troops, burn the city down, march in the streets? Or am I going to take that moment and unleash something like we talked about, even greater, more powerful, and say, it's a revival? And let that unleash and let the Lord use it in ways that no one else could have ever imagined.
If you were to meet the man, I won't name him again, accused of murdering your husband, do you know what you would say to him?
Nothing.
You would say nothing?
I have nothing to say to you.
It sounds like forgiveness.
Nothing.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
I want to bring in our final audience question for tonight. I want to turn it over to Joe Lavoie.
Hi, thank you. Your faith in this process has been inspiring, and that inspires this question.
Right. She wouldn't say anything.
How are you able to trust God amidst unfair and immense suffering?
One of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Job. And what's so powerful about that book is that you read it and you go along and you say, how could bad things happen to good people? But what happens at the end of that book? God does restore. He does. Even more so than Job had prior. But when did that happen? It happened when Job prayed for his friends. Even though they were against him, even though there was all this drama, he prayed for his friends. You can call them enemies. That's not saying, oh, Lord, my enemies, like, no. There's boldness in being able to say, Lord, do what only you can do. And the Lord restored what Job had lost. That's how.
We'll be right back.
Guys, this is this is definitely one of the oddest interviews that I've seen ever, to be honest with you. I think a lot of it has to do with there's still a ton of trauma that's there with her personally, with losing her husband. And I think maybe she didn't go over the questions well enough. But there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here, man. And I just listen. I don't got the answers for it. I don't even have the comprehension to articulate. I don't have the words to articulate how I'm feeling in regards to how weird this interview is. I don't know. I just wish her the best. But this is definitely odd. What are you guys feeling about this? How are you guys feeling about this? It's like she does not have real emotions. Right. She shouldn't have accepted the role. Supercalifragilistic Mikey could have done this. She doesn't have the authenticity to answer these questions, and it shows a lot of tension on set. Does she just not have emotions? It just started at 8 p.m., right? I mean, people also should give her some grace. She's into a role that has probably never been in before. That she's not probably never been in before on this level, and deals with personal grief. And she also has to be present. This type is super tiny. So I'm like, and my eyes. I don't have good eyes, guys. I think she should have done what she suggested to the young lady and appoint someone to do business, and she should come back with her kids when the kids are grown, right? All right, well, we're back on, guys.
CBS News is going to have many more conversations like this in the weeks and months ahead. So stay tuned. More town halls, more debates, more talking about the things that matter. I'm Bari Weiss, here in New York. Good night.
What the fuck was that? that interview. I don't listen. Thank God it's over. What did we just watch? Ask yourself, who is this target of this propaganda for? It's not for Gen Z or millennial. Most millennials. It's definitely for an older generation that falls for it. They're gonna see a widow and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, this widow, this Christian widow," and they're gonna, Seriously, thank you so much for streaming it. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Follow along. If you guys follow, share, like. I appreciate it. This is good stuff. Thank you guys for bearing with me at the beginning when I was having some technical difficulties and I had to come off. Thanks. I appreciate you guys being here. This was odd. This was odd, to say the least. I wish I could say that, I do want to have grace for her. At the end of the day, she's a human being, right? And we want to be human about this, right? We want to extend grace where grace is due. But to say the least, this was definitely an interview that should have been avoided. At the beginning, when she's talking about her husband, we see her emotions, and then when the question started, she was very dodgy. The man specifically asked, gave it a specific example. The president is calling for the death of senators, and she couldn't condemn it, right? Another guy asked her a very similar question. Bari Weiss asked her, do you think it's up to politicians to bring down the temperature? And she couldn't answer it. She said it's up to everybody. She gave a very milquetoast answer, a very blanket answer. It's up to everybody. I'm doing my part. I can't answer for anybody. When they brought up Candace Owens, it looks like she got angry. She's putting out her husband's legacy. We just don't live with her. Realistically, this is sad. I don't think this will have the effect it's aiming for, right? She's powerful. You all can't deny it. She's incredible. She's too mysterious for your small brains, and I get it. Now I know why Charlie married her. Okay, Jennifer. I don't know what kind of. How about this? Let me put you in time out. That's odd. That's an odd thing to say. I know why Charlie married her now. Your brain is too small. We all know who purchased the book. Right? Performative anger. That's wild and completely for the shock value. 100% agree. Listen, guys, I got to get to bed. This was nice. I appreciate you guys coming and streaming this with me. Definitely an odd interview. Listen, I wish the best for everyone. Have a good night.